Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight, the moment you have all been waiting for. You guys know we're on the path to the Amagi, and that means we have to go through the Nagato. So, let's get into the commander. We're using Takeo Takagi. We're running Andrew Cunningham and Azure Lane Scharnhorst as our commander inspirations. We have Flammable Cannoneer, gyrating drill bits, marksmanship, and reaching out XXL, with Will to Rebuild as our legendary perk. Alright, let's look at the loadout. We are running Aiming Systems Mod 1. We are running Steering Gears Mod 2. And for the first time, we get to use the Concealment System mod. Okay. Loadout. We are running the Spotter plane. We are using the Community Contributor flag and camo. I don't generally run the Community Contributor camo on things, but thought it was pretty fun. So why not? Gives you a 4.5% sea detectability range, as well as the incoming fire dispersion that I usually go with on battleships. Alright, stats. Survivability, we got 65,000 hit points with a 25% torpedo damage reduction. So worse torpedo damage reduction than the Fuso. So keep that in mind. Artillery. You have 410mm guns. You have 8 of them. They reach out to 18.4 kilometers, reload in 32 seconds, and 180-degree turn time is not bad at 34 seconds. HE maximum damage is 6,500 with a 30% chance to set fires. AP shell maximum damage is 13,310. Secondary armament. You have 127mm Type 89A1s. You got 8 of those that reach out to 5.2 kilometers and reload in 5 seconds. They fire HE, 2100 maximum damage with an 8% chance to set fires. Then you have the 140mm third-year types that you have 18 of. Those are your casemate guns. They 5.2 kilometer firing range. They reload at 8 seconds, and they fire an AP shell with a maximum damage of 2,700. AA defense. You have 25mm Type 96 Mod 1s that you have 24 of that do 43 damage per second and reach out to 3.1 kilometers. Then you have the 25mm Type 96 Mod 1s that you have dual gun turrets. You have 24 of those that do 60 damage per second and reach out to 3.1 kilometers. Then you have the 25mm Type 96 Mod 1 that you have triple gun turrets. You have 14 times 3, 28, and 14 would be 42. Somebody's going to correct me probably, but I think that's correct. 85 damage per second and 3.1 kilometer firing range on those as well. 127mm Type 89A1 dual purpose secondaries. You have 8 of those that do 40 damage per second and reach out to 5 kilometers. Maximum speed of this ship is still not fast at 22.5 knots, and this is where it sort of becomes a problem, and I'll go over that when we get into the match. Turning circle radius is not bad at 770, but not amazing. The rudder shift time with this build is very good at 12.3 seconds for a battleship. That's pretty good. Concealment. Detectability by sea is 12.8 kilometers. Detectability by air is 10.7. Guaranteed detectability is 2 kilometers, and the detectability while firing in smoke is 14.4. You can see that concealment mod coming in real handy with a 12.8 kilometer surface detection range. That's insane. Now that really only helps in a couple of situations. One, the opening turn, when you need to make those turns to get places. The enemy battleships will almost always be spotted before you. Okay, so that is huge. The other time it helps is when you need to disengage late in a game to save a match. A lot of battleships cannot disengage, but with 12.8 kilometers, you're going to have opportunities to disengage. The only downside is you're slow, especially at Tier 6. You're not fast at all, so it's not preferable. Alright, let's get to the armor. It doesn't have a whole lot of armor. I mean, it's not bad armor. Don't get me wrong, it's not that bad. But it has 25 millimeters of bow plating. That is standard for most battleships at Tier 6. So keep that in mind. 25 millimeters can be overmatched by 15 and 16-inch guns and above. So 15-inch guns and above can overmatch, meaning they can shove rounds straight through your bow. Okay? Keep in mind, you also have 16-inch guns, which means you can punch straight through the bow of all the other Tier 6 battleships, with the exception of Gneisenau and possibly... I think that's it, actually. That's pretty much it. Everybody else can pretty much be overmatched, I believe. Now, it does have a decent torpedo bulge, which is kind of a little bit of a... I don't know how you say it. A red herring for your actual armor. So it doesn't look like you have much armor, but it is actually significant. It's just hiding the under layer. So if we get rid of that and the torpedo bulge, you can see there is quite a bit of armor here. Okay? So keep that in mind. There is a lot of armor at the belt. You can bounce good rounds off the belt. The problem is, it doesn't always work that way. A lot of the rounds go through your upper side plating and deck and down into your citadel, and it ends badly. Okay? It just, I don't know, it just does. Also, you'll notice that you have a raised citadel. Okay, this is very bad news for any time you get penetrated in the middle of the ship. Look at how far it extends as well. All the way to the second, it would be the, what, ABXY? So it'd be the X turret. We'll just call it turret number 3. Okay, turret number 3, all the way up to the front of turret number 1, it is raised, meaning you can be citadeled much, much easier. Okay? Now, it is also angled armor, which you guys should know is a turtleback configuration, but don't trust it. You will be let down. The turtleback on this is not that good. You will be punched in the mouth if you go too angled to the wrong guns. Keep that in mind. Let's move to the overview. Big guns. This ship is armed with high caliber main battery guns. The biggest guns for its GI line. No, I didn't lie. It is the biggest guns for its tier. So yeah. Tier 6, you got 410 millimeter guns. Biggest guns at its tier. Tough, above average base HP rating. So, we already talked about that. It's got some armor, so it's got some hit points. But it is slow. Below average maximum movement speed. Okay. So, Nagato. Nagato had a long remained... Let's start that over. Nagato had long remained the most powerful warship in the Imperial Japanese Navy. She had good armor and carried 410mm main battery guns. In the 30s, the ship was modernized to receive more powerful torpedo protection. She entered service in 1920, and there were 2 of them in the series. Alright, so let's take a look at her. I mean, she is a pretty solid-looking ship. She's got a massive superstructure that we know. Also has the tripod superstructure behind it. Or the tripod mast to help hold up a lot of the electronics and stuff. But overall, it's not a bad-looking ship. And despite what a lot of people claim, it's not a bad ship. The problem is matchmaking screws this ship real bad. We'll talk about that in the gameplay. So with that being said, let's get to the gameplay. Alrighty, so we're going to be on Neighbors, and we are in Nagato. Now, I've said there was a few things I wanted to talk about this ship, and the main thing is that I don't like to brawl with this ship. I don't mind it in Amagi. Amagi's turtleback seems to be much more effective. Nagato, not so much. But that doesn't mean that this ship can't be effective. And I'm going to show you how. So we're on Neighbors, and we are going to head off to the right side. Again, you guys know this. I like to win my side, or at least try to hold my side. That's what we do. But you're going to see me key on a few things that happen over here early on. And then you're going to see me play the ship. And I'll be honest, I was a little too passive at times in this one. And I made a couple mistakes going behind islands and stuff that kind of cost me some shots. But we still have a very, very solid game in this ship to showcase just how good it can be when you use it like it should be used, in my opinion. Now, again, this is just my opinion. If you like to play the ship a different way, that's on you. But I tend to play a little further back in this ship especially. And the sole reason for that is it tends to take hits very badly. It tends to be kind of a glass cannon. Even though it's got armor and it can very well take hits, the problem is at Tier 6, the proliferation of 16-inch guns and above, or even 15-inch guns and above, is much higher because you're going up against Tier 7s as well. So you've got a much higher chance of being shot at with bigger guns that just don't care about your armor. And that is why the Nagato gets kind of a bad rap. The guns aren't bad. They can troll you because they're Japanese battleship dispersion, so it will troll you. But generally speaking, these guns behave, and they do pack a nasty wallop when they hit something. So what we're going to do here is not be the center of attention. Okay? That's hard for me to do because y'all know I like to just get up in there and do things. Alright, so it's difficult for me to sit back and let somebody else take the lead. But it's very important in this particular ship that we do that. And look at that, first shot. We're at 15 kilometers from a frickin' New Mexico. We get a 15K salvo off of him. He hits us for 5K. So you can see right off the bat, these guns do behave. For the most part. There will be shots where you just go, what the heck was that? But that's just RNG, it happens. Most of the time, these guns do behave, and they do quite well when they do behave. A lot of the dispersion that you get out of the Japanese battleships is horizontal, which is the best kind of dispersion to have. I've always said that. If you're ever going to get any sort of dispersion and bad RNG, let it be horizontal, for the love of God. There you can see our amazing AA at work. We got 3 out of those planes shot down. But he still got his bombs away and set us on fire, so we had to damage control. Probably a little risky, damage conning a single fire, but when it's from a carrier that's so far away, the shores actually scares me here, because I'm like, oh god, there's a shores out there after I just damage conned a single fire. But we get a shot over there, and look at it, right off the bat. We hit him with a few shells, and we get a Citadel. He's hurting. Okay, remember, these are not little guns. These are 410 millimeter guns. So you Citadel things, they notice. And so shores, you know, you overrun the island after being citadeled, and you expect to get away with it. But I know you're going to reverse. I aim for the back of your ship, and unfortunately for you, you fall exactly into the plan that I had, and we double citadel and get the dev strike on top of that. So these guns, like I said, very good when they behave. They do occasionally troll you, and we're up to 5 planes shot down. Again, I think we're up against a lower tier carrier, and that helps a lot. The AA on this ship, not particularly amazing. We already talked about that. But when the carrier is a lower tier carrier, the planes have a lot less hit points, therefore your AA's more profound or dominant. But yeah. Here we've got a Mutsu out here sailing broadside, and this is where the concealment mod comes in handy. I'm also behind an island at the moment, which is not preferable, but these guys are not able to see me to shoot at me, so they're forced to shoot at other people, and that allows me to get away with shooting at them. Basically untouched. Now, we didn't get a good shot off on the Mutsu, unfortunately. We shot the rear guns into the island like a dupe, and then we managed to completely screw that up. Now, we are going to be able to break contact eventually, but only after we manage to get rid of this destroyer, who is clearly right here. There's a destroyer right here. He just launched all these torpedoes. He was capturing the base. We knew he was there. That's why we took the wide route rather than going straight in, because we didn't want to be eating torpedoes unnecessarily. So you can see we're taking shots at the New Mexico over the hill, and the New Mexico getting very fortunate to not just have been removed by now. I don't know. Sometimes you just get lucky, I guess, and those are some of his times. Or maybe it's giving him some luck until he can get his heels off. Now, I was planning on shooting the Scharnhorst here, but, you know, a destroyer gets spotted 9 kilometers from you, especially a Japanese destroyer. You shoot the destroyer. I don't care what you're in. And so we take the shot at the destroyer, and we get the kill, giving us our 2nd kill of the game. And we still have the Scharnhorst over there, giving us a juicy broadside. and just absolutely begging for it. Now, this is one of the few times that you actually see me run the community contributor camo. Not a big fan of the camo, but it is nice to have a 4.5 and 4.5 camo, so it's a premium camo. So you gotta love that. But I don't generally run it because I tend to favor other camos, but I don't run the Nagato enough to warrant making a permanent camo for it like I do for my tier 7s and legendaries. But we get a shot off on the Scharnhorst, and we get a solid 4 overpins, because Scharnhorst, with all of its armor, I don't understand how it gets away with it. Like, seriously, the Scharnhorst is one of the tankiest, most annoying ships to get rid of. Because you both overpin it, and you can shatter and bounce off of it, which makes no sense. But he eats a couple torpedoes here, and we're going to get the shot off to try to get over the island, see if we can't finish him off. We're pushing around a second island here, and we do get the kill on the Scharnhorst, giving us our 3rd kill. Now, we haven't had a huge game, but 70,000 damage ain't bad for this point in the match. And you can see Mutsu already feeling some type of way about me coming over here uncontested and with full hit points. And the Ryujo takes center stage. I don't know how the man is detected at the moment, but I'll take it. The man wants to get detected in his carrier. You can see I kind of get a little screwed up here because of it, but we take the shot. He's literally battle tanking us, which is perfect, because that means we're not going to overpin him. And we get the citadels, and I say we're not going to overpin him. We get 3 overpins and 1 citadel. But we hit him real hard. And we are angled relatively well to the Mutsu. Mutsu, while it has 16-inch guns, it shoots World War I shells, which are not particularly amazing. They can absolutely punch you in the mouth, but they can also be very, very finicky and shatter a lot, especially on battleships. So we do give a little too much angle here, trying to get all the guns to bear once again on the Ryujo. We get another citadel, and unfortunately, just as we need it, we can't get that citadel to finish him off. And at this point, I'm losing hope. Like, he's going behind the island. Our destroyer's right there, spotting him. So I'm hoping he'll stay spotted long enough for me to get another shot. He doesn't. We are shooting at all of his planes that he's dropping torpedoes on us and such, but, you know, is what it is. We're trying to outrun the torpedo. We're definitely taking a torp. But it's not that big a deal. And he gets spotted once again. We take the shot. We know we can reach over that island with the front guns, but the rear guns make it as well. And that is the end of him, giving us an extra citadel, giving us 6 citadels for the game. And I'm chasing a Kraken with our 4th kill. Now, we have 109,000 hit points of damage, which has been a pretty solid game. It's not an amazing game by any stretch, especially for 16-inch guns, but it's been a pretty solid game. And you've seen how we've done it. We've popped in and out of existence. We wait for them to shoot at other people, and then we can take our shots uncontested. So our glass cannon really hasn't taken any hits, other than from the carrier. We really haven't taken any hits. It's been pretty easy sledding. And that's how the Nagato, I think, should be played. Make sure you run that concealment mod, and then run a full dispersion mod to keep your Japanese battleship dispersion at least usable. And I think you'll enjoy it. Definitely use steering gears as well to get around the nerf to the steering that the Amagi and the Nagato also received. But honestly, other than that, like, it's a fantastic ship when it behaves. But it's all about when it behaves. It can be one of the most frustrating ships to play in the world when you take a shot and every time you shoot, the rounds all go in different directions for some reason. I know what that feels like. Trust me. Been there, done that. But when it behaves, it can also be one of the best tier 6 battleships. Still, even after the nerf, it's still fully capable of just absolutely taking over a match. Especially late game. You get late game like this and you've been able to conserve your hit points because you can run the concealment mod and you've been able to stay out of trouble. You've got 410mm guns that like to citadel things, as you've seen. They really do enjoy citadeling things because of that horizontal dispersion. And I was looking forward to this, but we actually get pretty crap out of that one. But these guns and this ship with its moderate turtleback armor can be devastating late game. It can absolutely steal a match away from people. And so That's why I like this ship, and I know a lot of people hate this ship. They can't stand it. A lot of you guys have been mentioning the entire line, like, I can't wait to see the Nagato game because Spartan, you know, I just can't wait to hear what he thinks about it. But honestly, I don't hate it. I didn't hate it the first time before the nerf, and since playing since the nerf, I still don't hate it. It is a bit of a glass cannon, but you know that going in, so protect yourself. Use the concealment mod, use the steering gears mod to help dodge torpedoes, and you will be golden. And use the steering gears mod to help you with getting your guns to bear after bow tanking enemy ships, just doing the dreadnought shuffle that you guys all know and love by now. You guys know what I'm talking about. Unfortunately, North Carolina takes a turn and goes behind an island for us and eats all the torpedoes from both our destroyer and our British heavy cruiser, and he goes down. But we still had a pretty solid game, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys are still enjoying the path to the Amagi. You know what that means. One more, 2,887 base XP, 4 kills. Top of the leaderboard. So if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.